First one.
I know, ready and
First one.
firing.
Yes, let's get this rolling. Super excited to have this conversation. We've got Cindy and Adrian with us. Real quick, if you would just give us your name, who you're with, and what you do.
Sure. Thanks for coming. So my name is Cindy Hoagland, and I'm the Senior Vice President for the Owner and Public Sector here at Trimble, which is the O in the AECO segment. for Trimble.
Okay. I was wondering about what
There
that
you go.
O was.
Yeah.
And I'm Adrian, and I'm VP of Product Management for the Owners and Public Sector. So part of Cindy's leadership team,
Okay.
responsible for the portfolio we offer to our owners for asset lifecycle management.
Okay. Well, tell us about the Yo a little bit more.
Sure. So we take care of those customers that are in the federal space, federal agencies,
Okay.
state agencies, local government municipalities. Think Department of Public Works,
Okay.
the Department of Transportations, airports across this country, railway across this country, and then what we also call the private owner, and that would be customers that manage data centers, that manage healthcare institutions, that manage higher ed.
Okay. Do you have anything to add to that?
No, I think we've covered it. I think the only one I would add to it is utilities. So many of those organizations
okay.
have utility departments, water departments, or energy departments. We also provide solutions to address their needs.
Yeah.
And those kind of land in the middle, right? They're not quite public, but they're also not private. They're in that little
both.
middle land, right? Yeah. Okay.
So
Interesting.
talk about ALM, which is Asset Lifecycle Management.
Sure. So the Trimble Unity Suite is what we refer to as Asset Lifecycle Management. And so what that is a suite of applications that help our public and private owners manage assets and projects, everything from capital planning. So let's take an example of a Department of Transportation, like a Caltrans.
Perfect.
So we help them to manage, how do they manage their budget from a capital planning perspective?
Okay.
We help them to then manage the construction project itself, the project management itself, and then the assets and how do you actually maintain and manage those assets long term. So we provide this great suite of capabilities that are GIS centric in nature that allow you to actually manage your data across all of the phases of the life cycle of a project or an asset.
Okay. And Adrian, tell us about Trimble Unity.
So Trimble Unity is our platform that we deliver those capabilities upon. So it's something we launched last year, and it's brought together all of our capabilities we had within Trimble together, from the capital project management to the enterprise asset management, permitting, with a core platform, Unity underneath, a connected data environment, and Trimble Connect that underpins that. And also then Trimble Unity Field, a mobile solution that works across that entire life cycle, a single mobile solution working in the field, serving all those field users, because many of our users are actually people who work in the field. They're construction people or they're maintenance people who are actually working out in the field.
Okay. And there's got to be artificial intelligence, I'm sure, is playing a role in this somehow.
Yes. I'll cover that. So AI, if you think about our solution, so that Unity platform comes from and builds upon our heritage that is decades old, with eBuilder on the construction project management side, with CityWorks on the enterprise asset management side, with Agile Assets on transportation asset management. So we have customers who have decades of data. And what they're coming to us is asking, how can we gather insights from all of that asset history or all that project history? So what we did recently, we had our user conference, our Innovate user conference focused on owners. And there we launched our Trimble Unity AI. So what Trimble Unity AI is doing is unlocking the insights from all of that history, that years or decades of history those customers have, and being able to tell them where their challenges are with their assets, where are their worst performing assets, what should they be doing about addressing those challenges that they're facing. So giving them insights into data that would have taken them a lot of time to actually go and get, and now it's becoming a conversation. So think of it like a conversation with your data, where you can actually start understanding what are the mechanics of what is happening within your business through the insights you can get from your data.
And you said to access things that would normally take a long time. Like, is this even something where some of these insights are coming to light that the municipality would have never even known about?
Absolutely, because it would be such a bar. Because firstly, the people who want the insights are people who are not necessarily technically skilled. So they don't know about databases or how to write SQL queries or things like that that you would have had to do before if you're mining the data.
Right.
What they want to do is to be able to ask a natural language question. Where am I? Why is my asset score in this region worse than my others? Why, what is the asset category that's driving that? So to be able to start asking those questions in a conversational way, in natural language, whereas before they would have had to have somebody prepare a report. They would look at the report. Of course, they're having more questions. Now they've got to go and invite somebody to write.
Yeah.
So the time to do that was really long, the skill set to do that. So what we've done really is, people talk about democratizing the data
Sure.
with
Yeah.
AI, but in a way, you're kind of putting it into the hands of the people who want to make those decisions, who are typically people who are not technically skilled with the back end of the system. So you're actually being able to empower the insights into the people who actually want to make those answer those questions.
Interesting.
I'll add one thing to that. So for some of our customers, they have 52,000 miles of lanes that they're
Right.
trying to manage, hundreds of thousands of signs that they need to track and assets that they need to maintain and manage. And so what we do is we allow them to aggregate that information and start asking and querying those types of questions that will help and inform them. Where should I be prioritizing out of thousands of signage and hydrants, fire hydrants that have to be managed? What do I maintain first? Where do I service first? And so we're trying to kind of free up that information and that data that they have so they can make better, more informed decisions.
Is that like almost the question you would ask? Is you can just ask it, where do I start? If I bought new stop signs, where are they needed the most? And it'll
Exactly.
just tell you, right?
Exactly. So we have some clients in general for the Trimble Unity Suite. We manage about over $1 trillion in capital programs. We manage hundreds of thousands of miles and lanes. And so for our customers to actually be able to go in and say, for the fire hydrants in this particular location in the last 6 months, which ones did we maintain and which ones didn't? What types of customer problems, service requests do we need to do? And to start to have those conversations, it's all about the prompting because the data is actually there.
Right.
And it's helping them to free it up and give them more insights.
Is that what you're finding, that your customers have the data available? They just don't know what to do with it. Like you said, you got 15 years of data sitting there, and you guys the platform can pull it in any form or fashion, just good old fashioned data.
So here's the unique thing about what Trimble put together a few years ago in our vision around asset lifecycle management. So the problem that we're solving for is that 75% of the cost of a bridge when it's constructed is in the operations and the maintenance. It's not in the design and it's not in the construction. It's in managing and maintaining those assets long range for the next 20 or 30 years.
Really?
That's where the cost is. So we have a very asset management focus. And so we look at the asset, everything related to that asset, all the attributes, how long it's been maintained, how it was built, how it was designed. And then we actually provide better insights when you have that type of approach, because we've shown that you can actually reduce that 75% by 40% if you have an asset lifecycle management approach to your assets that you're managing, whether that's universities, whether that's healthcare institutions, whether that's a public works institution or a DOT.
So you're saying in general, waiting for it to break and fixing it is more expensive than actually doing proper maintenance?
It is. It is.
And you have the data to prove it now, right?
It is.
How do you guys, how do you manage the data security and integrity?
So firstly, Trimble Unity is a cloud solution. So we offer it as in the cloud, and we have a whole security development lifecycle around that guarantees the integrity of the solution. And we follow security best practices. We've got a whole team that are involved in operating that hosting environment and making sure that all the security best practices are put in place. So we would provide service level agreements to our customers in terms of the integrity, the security, the robustness of that solution.
I have another question, maybe a little more broader, but is there an advantage, or can you aggregate all of this across all the cities? And when, let's say Las Vegas just seems to spend a lot of money on stop signs, you could say, well, on average in the country, stop signs last this long. Are you able to combine all of the different cities and then have that holistic view?
It's a great question. So Nevada Department of Transportation has their own policies and their regulation of what they're actually following. So do the cities themselves. So
Okay.
at the public works, as well as the cities and municipalities. But what you're seeing once you're able to free the data and the information is that you'll start to see local government and municipalities sharing along with the
Yeah,
Department of
okay.
Transportations. Because at the end of the day, for the community, it's the community that
Right.
actually benefits, and it's the taxpayers that actually benefit from this at the end of the day.
Interesting. It just seems like it's so more powerful now that you can pull it all in and you can aggregate everything.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's very interesting.
Yeah. What are some lessons maybe you guys learned, from this large scale implementation, working with public agencies?
So still within this industry, the challenge has been, and I think you heard this today on stage as well, is data being put into silos. Various departments are collecting various information, but it isn't necessarily making it across the handover. So an architect may design that building or that road. They hand over that model to a contractor who then has to design it, who uses machine control guidance to put that 3D model into. Once that road or that bridge has been designed or constructed, there's a handover of that model back to the owner to then maintain and to manage that going forward. The industry still is challenged with data silos. It's still challenged with data moving all throughout those various phases of construction, but there's no better company in this country to do that than Trimble. We know the data, we understand the data, we understand design, we know pre-construction, we know surveying and mapping. So there's no better company that's able to collect that data, manage that data, and analyze that data, and then be able to construct and then maintain that data better than Trimble.
So you have a solution for all of this fancy stuff to get the project built. And then when it's built, we hand a piece of paper with some markings on it to the owner and say, okay, here you go. It just seems like, we worked backwards at that stage, right?
The industry is coming along.
Okay.
So where surveyors and GIS professionals are coming into play, even more important now is that what they're doing in and out is they're managing those assets. They're collecting that information on the data, the precision of that particular asset. And so they're more important now than ever to make sure that throughout the life cycle of that bridge or that building, that we know the location and we know the positioning and we have the accuracy related to that particular asset. And so why is that important? Because in this industry, we're moving to open BIM data standards, we're moving to 3D models, we're moving to digital as-built, and it's the surveyor and the geospatial professionals that know that industry really well.
Well, and speaking for that industry, we're really excited about the digital delivery of as-built and carrying that accuracy all the way through.
So if you're looking, say, 5 years into the future, what does the smart infrastructure ecosystem look like? How does ALM and Unity and everything kind of, I guess, frame that? What is that going to look like?
So I think you're going to see open solutions, integrated solutions, workflows that are working across those. So the walled gardens of the past will be gone, broken down by open standards, workflows that are crossing the different systems. Part of that, what will be arising from that will be agentic AI. So you will see automation of those workflows through agents, being able to automate some of the tedious tasks, but also being able to, if you think about the conversation we had earlier about Trimble using AI, that is an agentic that has been designed to be an agentic solution. So you will have agents like that are able to interact, and the human involved as well. So the human being able to ask the interesting questions, to pose and make the decisions. But you're having automation happening across that life cycle, enabled by the technology, the AI, but also enabled by the open standards and the integration of the solutions across the full life.
And I think to add to that is that the technology is there. We have the ability to do this, as you asked about digital as-built. There's also a policy element to this. So you need to make sure that all 50 states are on board in understanding the relevance and the importance of open data standards. the ability for IFC, the need for 3D modeling, and actually the need for what is called a model as a legal document that allows states to actually count on the model, the 3D model itself, as the document of record.
Ah, yeah, that's a big shift, right?
Huge shift.
Do you see that shift in the next 5 years?
I do.
Okay.
That'd be amazing. So is Trimble working, at a governmental level? Okay, interesting.
Yes, Trimble was at the forefront of a program called the Advanced Digital Construction Management Systems. It was a grant program that we helped assist in getting into the 5-year surface transportation bill that was in 2021, which comes up for expiration at September of 2026. And so what we helped to do and champion over the last 6 or 7 years was the importance of allowing DOTs to have grant funding so that they could adopt technology in a more rapid pace so that they could actually be more modernized and more digital than they've had before from a digital project perspective. So Trimble advocated along with many others in the industry in the United States so that we could actually get a program that was $100 million program that allowed DOTs to apply for grant money to go do a lot of the digital as-built and the 3D modeling that they're doing today.
We're kind of help jumpstart them into that
Absolutely.
world. So you guys meet directly with when you say the owners, do you meet directly with municipalities and
do.
so I have to ask, can you give us an example of like what's the big wow moment, or when you said, hey, we can do this, and what's the thing that really catches an owner's attention when you talk about the platform?
Well, most recently, it's the AI. It's the AI capability that has driven huge excitement within the customer base. People saying, when can I get it? How can I get involved in this? Because I've been waiting for this, because there's a recognition within our customer base of the history that they have, the value that's inherent in that, but a kind of an inbuilt frustration that they weren't able to take the value out of that. And now what we have done is we've enabled that. We've allowed them to actually capture that value, use it to make the decisions that they need to make good decisions, make informed decisions, timely decisions.
Interesting.
I think we also talk about our ecosystem. You heard Rob today talk about the Trimble ecosystem, and that's the ability of actually getting all of our geospatial survey partners, our contractors involved, our owners involved, and all kind of sharing in the vision of interoperability and openness to access to data. So it takes everyone in the industry to actually work together collaboratively. And that's what the owners are looking for Trimble to do, along with many others.
Okay, yeah. So because you're the solution that everyone already uses in some form or fashion, and then the most centric, right? I mean, the most people use it across all the different areas.
We are, and even when we're not, we need to be open and interoperable so that we can free up that data to actually be moved around within that asset lifecycle.
Yeah. And it's a huge collaborative effort because it's still garbage in, garbage out, right?
It
like
is.
If it's the data coming in isn't, good data, what are you gonna do?
Well, I think that's another important point, though, because when you think about Trimble's offering, right, and we spoke about getting those insights, exactly your point, garbage in, garbage out. But what Trimble offers is our ability to capture precision data as well, something that feeds into this. So we're not just on the receiving end or on the end of the cycle here in terms of analyzing the data. We're providing solutions that they're using to digitize the process in the first place, to capture that data, authoritative, precise data, and that quality data is what's then feeding into those insights. And so bringing together the power of all you can see here, on the floor here at Trimble, of the different technology, that all comes into play into that data set that is then used for the analysis.
I like it.
It's exciting stuff.
It is exciting. Is there anything else we haven't touched on that you guys want to get out there?
And maybe one thing, your name is Geoholics. So one of the things we spoke about Trimble Unity, one thing I didn't mention was we're GIS centric. We've been, pioneered the term from an asset management perspective. We've been very much driving that GIS view of the world through the asset life cycle. And I think we will also be leading and pioneering the adoption of the BIM technology, 3D modeling technology in with that. So we've innovated across asset management, capital project management, again, for decades, and we're going to continue to do that with the technology we have.
And is that all? Is that the vision then for that in that GIS environment to then say click on that building and then you go into the BIM model. I mean, it is all in that, all cohesive in that same environment.
Yes, so you'll have interoperability to be able to have those different views, to have the GIS view, to have this new view, to have the reality capture. Again, we see
Yeah.
in the plenary there that the 360 view reality capture, being able to actually have those different views, because there's no one view that is going to, be the one view that every user is going to need. They're going to need to be able to bring different aspects of the data depending on the decision that they're trying to make.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, this has been fantastic. Very, very
Yeah,
insightful.
exactly.
Stuff I wasn't even aware of. So that's really, really good. Anything else, Cindy, before we let you go?
No, I think that Trimble's very focused on being open, interoperable, extensible from our platform, because we believe in allowing our customers to do what they do better, faster, cheaper, and more sustainable than ever before.
Well said. Well, thank you, Cindy. Thank you, Adrian. Great conversation. Thanks for your time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you for
yeah,
coming.
absolutely.
Yeah, we're happy to be here.
We're happy to be here.
Let's do it again next year.
We will be
Honestly.
here. Yeah. Look forward for the next couple of days as well. Thanks,
Yeah.
guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for having us.